Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela. And I decided to go ahead and I've already done a VR to Garden Goddess Tarot and Rose Honey Ritual, hashtag only 10 mass market decks. And so I thought I would do hashtag only 10 mass market decks Oracle edition. Because I did just tarot the first time. So we'll go through this. I've got 10 decks. Maybe a little fib there because I have two that I combined into one. You probably know what it is because everybody does it. But here we go. It is only 10 mass market Oracle decks. So, and these are in no particular order. I do want to get the first one I ever got out of the way. It is the Earth Magic Oracle cards by Stephen D. Farmer. This is the third deck I ever bought. No, second deck I ever bought. It is the first Oracle deck I ever bought. It is published by Hay House. I'm sure everybody's seen this deck. It's been around for quite a while. But when I bought an RWS tarot deck and didn't resonate with it, I saw this deck. It's beautiful, and it's like a glossy cardstock. I saw this deck, and I saw the Dragonfly in it, and I'm like, I need that deck. I didn't even know when I bought this what it was. I didn't know it was an Oracle deck. I didn't know there was a difference in Oracle decks versus, where is it? I didn't know there was a difference. This is my second favorite card in there, Eagle and Communication. That's beautiful. It's stunning. I didn't know there was a difference. I didn't know what an Oracle deck was. I got it because of the Dragonfly, and then there were so many other cards in here that was just instant love. Like that. I'm trying to find it here. It's going to be in the very back. Watch. Dragonfly, where are you at? I don't see it anywhere. Oh, no. And it was straight and to the point. There's the Dragonfly card. Love it. Emergence. Just, it's stunning. And I'm like, I have to get that. And I got it. And it was instant. I could read with it instantly. And I'm like, okay, maybe I can only read Oracle decks. And then, of course, I got the Lightseers or the Illuminati, and then the Lightseers, and it went downhill from there. But that was number one. Number two, I'm going to get it out of the big box so you guys can see it. You know what I'm talking about. Here's the book. It is the Mystical Shaman Oracle. This is the guidebook by Alberto Villalodo, Colette Bailyn-Reed, and Marcela Lobos. It's a collaborative deck. I've noticed when people get this deck, they either love it or they hate it. I love it for ancestor work. This is the only Oracle deck that I've edged. I did one of those ink pad things. It's Rusty Hinge as the color to match the backs. Just holding this deck, I feel there's ancient ancestors watching me. It has a certain vibe to it that these are like my colors here. The fall looking oranges and the deserty colors. It's stunning. It's breathtaking. And I don't use this a whole lot because I don't do ancestor work all the time. It's one of my favorite cards in here, the Curse. But this deck is beautiful. It has a very nice matte cardstock. It's stunning. And like I said, either people really love it or they really hate it. I've never seen it in between on this deck. But it's beautiful. It's stunning. There's not much bad I can say about this deck. It's gorgeous. Here's my other type for my favorite card, Earth card, which is, for Virgo. It's stunning and beautiful, and I love it. When I first bought this deck, I bought it as a knockoff. Didn't know it was a knockoff. And then I had to go buy the real thing because I'm like, I need the book. This Indian Cross, I've talked about a lot. One of the very first meditations I did, there was a meditation with a almost exactly like that, but it was a triangle with a circle cut perfectly in the middle of it. Still haven't found out what that was. I think I know now, but I've been doing a lot of investigating on that, trying to find out what that meant. And it was like a top of an ancient ruin. It's like someplace I feel like I've been before. And it's funny because this deck is one of 2 decks in my entire collection that feels like I've owned it before, even though I've never owned it before. It's weird. It's like coming home when I bought that deck. It was like so familiar to me. It was weird. So next we have Sacred Destiny Oracle by Denise Linn. It's a Hay House. I think the other one was Hay House too. Let me see. Let me double check. The Mystic Shaman Oracle was a Hay House deck also, yes. So far, 3 Hay House decks. This deck is awesome. Of course, it's got a nice mat also. It's a little thicker than the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck, but that's stunning as well. I love the keywords in this. It's stunning. I love it. I probably out of this and the next deck I'm going to show you has been used the most. That's not an indie deck because I have a couple indies that I use all the time. But as far as mass market goes, this one and the next one I'm going to show you is probably the one I've used the most out of all my mass market decks. It's gorgeous. I love it. It actually kickstarted me getting a couple of her decks, which I've used all of them and love them all. But this is the main one I use of Denise Linn's decks. So next deck is probably the 4th. It's by Alana Fairchild. The artwork is by Autumn Sky Morrison. It's the Sacred Rebels Oracle. This one's a Blue Angel publication. So we got a different publisher this time. I hear this is now in a matte and borderless, and I want it, but the deck I seen on their, or I saw on their website was like $45. And I'm like, I paid like $20 for this deck. Why would I pay another $45 for the exact same deck? I don't see why that would be feasible. But I've talked about this deck many times also. The keywords on this are lovely, and actually I'm going to look for it right now. This card right here, I started following somebody on YouTube, and they were doing a reading, and they were like, pick a card reading. I thought I was picking this card, and I wasn't. I was picking actually a different one, but when she pulled this, I'm like, oh, that's the card I picked, because I really just was paying attention to up here, the colors. And I didn't really read it, and it was at a time in my life where I was like, should I continue this writing? Should I do it? And maybe I'm too old to write. Maybe I'm not good at it. And then she read this card off, and I was like, I started bawling. Because it literally says the word wants to be written. And then we got looks like her third eye opening up here. And all these ideas. To me, the butterflies are ideas coming out. And then she's also crying. And I'm like, oh my God. It was life-changing. And in that moment, I was sitting in my car in the rain by myself. And I'm like, this is not happening. And I immediately had to buy this deck. And I've never been disappointed. This deck brings out, and let's look at this. She's painting herself to life. I mean, come on. If you need one of those truth-telling decks that also transforms your soul, this is the deck. This is the deck that helps your soul grow. I feel, and it's stunning, and I love it. And someday I'll be able to afford the borderless mat, but until then, I'm quite happy with my glossy copy because I don't see myself paying double what I paid for this one for a matte borderless version. But this is the Sacred Rebels Oracle, one of my top 5 favorite Oracle decks of all time. It's never going anywhere. Then we have a hard hitter, Magic of You Oracle, published by Rockpool Publishing. It's got this matte velvety feel on here. I saw this on Ethany's channel. The creator, Fiona Horn, which is Australian, had sent her a copy of the deck. And I saw it on her channel. It's typical Oracle card size, like the Earth Magic size. And I'm like, it's so out there and so different. And it is dark. I got this deck and it was just like, what's happening? Like, why? Why? And if you don't want all your darkness uncovered, don't buy this deck because it will call you out. And be like, why aren't you dealing with this crap? We know you know, we know. Why aren't you dealing with this? Like this Maximus, how can you feed others when your own table is empty? Like, come on. I got that card, and I haven't shown it yet. And this card right here, and it was again at another time where I was like, do I have gifts at all? Like, because I was getting called to be a medium, and I'm like, but I'm not a medium, am I? And then this card popped up. Literally, like that first 8 times I used this deck, this is the only card that came out. I don't care how many times I shuffled. I don't care how many other people I read for in between those 8 readings for myself. I would read for other people, and it would get different cards, and then I would go back to read for myself, and I would pull the card again, and I'm like, okay. Yeah, this is a beautiful deck. It's dark. I use it for shadow work with my shadow work decks most of the time. But if I want something straight and to the point and no nonsense, this is the deck I'm going for because it does not play at all. So, next we have, again, another deck that doesn't play, the Sacred Creators Oracle by Chris Ann. It is a Hay House publication. I got this because I saw it as an indie deck, and I'm like, oh, I want that. And then all of a sudden it was mass market. And I'm like, okay, I'll buy it. Because I love the Light Seers, and it's the same cardstock as the Light Seers with the same kind of backs. Manifesting. See, this is calling me out right now. I haven't used this deck in a while, and the first card I flipped over is Manifesting and Doing. So if you want to manifest something, you have to do something. See, that's what this deck does. It calls me out. Where I've said many times that the Light Seers is sweet and that best friend that will always tell you the truth, but always do it in a sweet, gentle way. This deck does not. It will slap you across the face and go, hey, moron, I've been telling you this for 6 months. Why aren't you listening? That's this deck. And I love the two working together because it's a varied contrast. And I love the differences in 2 decks that were created by the same creator. They're the same publisher, and yet they have 2 very different functions in my collection, and I love that. So that is the Sacred Creators Oracle. And while I'm talking about this, all of these decks can be found on Amazon or the publisher's websites. They're still all available. And I did have, we have the Seed and Sickle by Fez Inkwright. This is a Liminal 11 deck. I love this. Is so beautiful. A lot of times when I just want to look at something pretty, legit, I don't even have to use it. It's got 2 guidebooks, the Dawn guidebook and the Dusk guidebook. And I've only ever seen when people talk about this deck that they use the Dusk guidebook. I don't get it. The Dawn is just not something I'm into either. So I don't get it. Nobody wants to use the Dusk guidebook, the Dawn guidebook, which is crazy. But I love the cardstock. I love the backs. This is another deck that I was just floored by. Tulip, my favorite flower. I had a lot of meditations when I first started my spiritual journey of a young Indian girl, and I actually have a playlist on my on my YouTube channel of the young Indian girl. And there was what jump-started the visions I was having and the meditations I was going through was I first saw a little young Indian girl about 6 or 7 in a field of red daisies. And I saw this walkthrough of this deck on Simon from the Hermit's Cave channel, and I said, if there's a daisy in the deck, I'll think about buying it. And sure enough, I'm trying to find it. Sure, look at these colors, just stunning. I love autumnal colors. I'm a total fall girl. I was born in September also, so love this poppy. Where's it at? I know I didn't pass it. Yeah, it's at the end. And sure enough, there was a daisy in it. And I'm like, okay, if he pulls this card when he shuffles this deck, I will buy the deck. And sure enough, he pulled this card. And I'm like, okay, I will buy the deck. And it is been so profound. Just the reading of the Dusk guidebook for this card had me crying. And I'm like, again, if you guys know me, I don't show emotion well. I don't deal with emotion well. If there's something that can pull out emotions from me, enough to make me cry, because I don't cry. There's a reason I'm getting it. That's the reason I'm getting it. I'm going to explore why it's affecting me that way. Um, and this is that deck that did that. And I didn't have any plant decks at the time, and I wanted one. And this one was just so stunning and so beautiful. The guidebook is amazing. I have touched on the Dawn guidebook, but the Dusk guidebook in this deck really, it speaks to my soul. So there's that. I totally forgot what I was going to say about the other one. Decks I got this year. Wisdom of Haviz. This is a U.S. Games publication, and I just realized I think it's the only U.S. Games publication I have in this. It's stunning. The more you open the box, the more beautiful it is. It's just stunning. The backs, stunning. The gilding, stunning. The deck, stunning. And it's funny because I just saw somebody do a video with this deck, and that was the card on top. That's freaky because I've never pulled that card. But from what I've seen, Hafiz was a poet. I love this deck. Persian poet. And I had just gotten the Journey of the Tarot of Japanese Poetry, which has haiku poetry in it also. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this card had me crying. I pulled it like the first 4 times I had this deck, Love Unabashedly. And I don't necessarily think it's talking about loving other people. Love yourself. If you love yourself, nothing can go wrong, right? Nothing can be bad. And it's just a stunning, stunning deck. Since then, I love this one too. Love that. Look at, she's playing the violin in the Persian background city. That's just stunning. It's a stunning deck. It's very emotional for me. Also, again, that's why I don't have as many oracles, because they seem to be more spiritually related to me than my tarot decks. Then we have Woodland Wardens. It is by Jessica Rue, published by Andrews McMeel Publishing. I've used this most of the year with my Soul Cats. It's like paper, but I love it. It's stunning. I have the Oak Ash and Thorn, which I have yet to pair with it, which I'm sure will pair amazing with it. I also have the Smoke Ash and Embers, which I'm sure will pair amazing with it. This deck is awesome. And I would say I got it this year at the beginning, I think April. It is one of my top 5 Oracle decks ever. It's amazing and beautiful. Last but not least is my cheat. I don't remember the publisher, but this is Soul Cards 1 and 2. And I've combined them. This is Soul Cards 1 was one of the first decks I got. Again, Oracle decks I got. And then I wound up getting Soul Cards 2 last year. Both decks had me experiencing some really crazy truths. This card always pops up when I talk about it and tell the story. So I got this is deck 1. I bought this deck, pulled this card in my walkthrough. And I all of a sudden just saw forked tongue and lies coming out of this card. And I'm like, why am I seeing all this dark stuff in this card? Well, I don't know why some of these are turned upside down. Later that day, I got a phone call from a person. And they were telling me all these horrible things. I never want to speak to you again. Blah, 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 blah. And it was all lies because they were trying to protect themselves. Because they thought that I was going to walk away from their life. And so they were saying this to make me, I don't know why these are all backwards. I got to situate these. But I've used these quite a bit. Because I know it's a truth teller. It's one of those decks that will give it to you straight. There's no emotion to me involved in this deck. It is very straightforward, and I am all about the truth. I'm always a person that is seeking truth. If I know somebody's lied to me, I look at them differently because I'm not one for lies. And this deck, with this card just floored me because it was so accurate. It chilled me. And then I got deck 2 and the same situation happened when I did a walkthrough of it. So I'm like, yeah, this is an awesome deck. And that's why that's my cheat. It's 2 decks in 1, because I only use it together now. But that is my 10 Oracle decks for top 10, hashtag top 10 mass market decks. It's my top 10 mass market Oracle decks. VR2 Garden Goddess Tarot and Rose Honey Ritual. And I would love to see more. If you guys do that, let me know. Bye.